And Flashpoint Beyond, issue number 1, is written by Jeff Johns and Jeremy Adams, art by Zermanico and Mikkel Janin, colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr. and Jordi Belair, and letters by Rob Lee. And the story begins with Thomas Wayne having dinner with Harvey Dent's son Dexter when Oswald Cobblepot enters, having been summoned by Thomas. Thomas then tells Oswald to watch the boy as he heads down into the Batcave, in which Dexter then asks Oswald if he can learn to shoot a gun. We then get a sequence of Thomas putting on the Batman costume when we cut to Wonder Woman having been tied to a post with her own lasso. An Atlantean asks Wonder Woman if she remembers all of the people she's killed when she bites off a tentacle from his face. Batman then pops up from the water and shoots the two guards before striking a deal with Wonder Woman that he will free her in exchange for using her lasso. We then cut to Aquaman, who just sits and listens to the clock when Batman manages to get the lasso around Aquaman. And though Aquaman easily takes out Batman, Batman manages to get Aquaman to answer his questions about Barry, learning that Aquaman actually knew nothing of this, as Batman gets a call from Oswald saying the Wayne Casino has been blown up. It's then that Batman realizes that he'd been set up, as Aquaman in the meantime heads for his trident, realizing it's gone when Wonder Woman leaps out and plunges it into his back, killing him. Thomas returns to Gotham to find Oswald teaching Dexter how to shoot, when Oswald discusses options on how to deal with the perpetrator of the casino attack. The book then begins to wrap up with Barry on the main Earth visiting Bruce, who says he's going to be working with the other Flashes to determine why they feel a disruption in time. The Flash then leaves with Corky Baxter telling Bruce that he can stop now as it's not too late, when Bruce simply says, "Yes it is." And I'll start by saying, it was another interesting issue. One of the book's biggest strengths is I think we actually have a pretty good mystery going on here. I mean, someone's playing Thomas to go on this Aquaman goose hunt in order to get rid of him, so that they can blow up Wayne Casino. And of course, the question being asked is why? Because it definitely seems like whoever's, in control of this whole thing has it out for Thomas Wayne. Damn it, I want to know who it is. The book also does a good job of giving us context into, the current world situation. We got it in the first issue as well with the news station sort of like giving us the play-by-play on like what's going on, how bad the situation's gotten. And I also really like the transitions where we're going from like, the new sequences to the TV to then, Thomas sitting down with Dexter for dinner. Almost kind of reminds me of a movie where, you're sitting on the TV and then you're panning out to that establishing shot. And I just have this weird feeling that Dexter's gonna end up becoming the Flashpoint universe's Robin. Then, of course, let's talk about the clock, because there's several instances of like the clock being used in literal terms, as well as there's a bit of symbolism going on with it, it seems. Because when Thomas goes to his clock and Oswald points out that it's 11 minutes behind, to which Thomas is like, no, it's just broken. But then when we get our next bit of news source, we find out that in Keystone City that all of those clocks fell 11 minutes behind. Coincidence? I think not. And then of course there's the scene in Aquaman's throne room where we're just listening to the clock ticking as everything's going on, but then as soon as it ding dongs, it's like boom, Aquaman is killed. And with that kind of comes off in a way where it's sort of like a symbolic way of saying Aquaman's time was up. Kind of felt like his own personal doomsday clock and his countdown to destruction. And I gotta say, the use of the clock does make this book feel like it is a Flashpoint sequel / Doomsday Clock hybrid sequel, because we're in the world of Flashpoint, but the tone almost kind of feels like Doomsday Clock. And when it comes to the art, I think it's really solid here, and there's actually a scene where we're actually dealing with the reverse of an issue that I had from the previous issue, which if you haven't seen my first issue review, or should I say 0 issue review of this book, go ahead and click the link right up here. But what I was saying in that particular case is back in the 0 issue, there was an instance where the art kind of like changed during that initial like Thomas Wayne with Barry Allen, and it just looked really weird and kind of off-putting. It just didn't strike me as like, okay, this I'm having trouble taking it seriously, actually. Whereas here, we have the scene where he goes down to the Batcave and we get this transition piece on the page of him into his Batman costume, and we're just watching the artwork go from kind of what it was into this very interesting, almost paint-like picture of Thomas Wayne, in his Bat costume, and he's holding his gun, and I'm just like, I really like the flow of that transition. And then, of course, the ultimate shot of Thomas Wayne in his Bat costume holding his gun. And there was definitely a lot of other great moments in this book as well. Like, I like a lot of the character designs, the Atlantean guard things that kind of look like, they're more so the spawn of Cthulhu. And just that shot of Wonder Woman plunging Aquaman's trident into his back, that was a very interesting scene. And, I'm just kind of like, she killed him. All right. And of course, following that scene, we get the expressions on their faces with Wonder Woman actually being sad, and we see the tear coming down her face. And it's just like, as she even puts it, I loved you. And Aquaman's retort to that was, well, I only loved Mira. So, let that sting before I bleed out. And I don't know, that might even make Wonder Woman even more wanting to just end the entire world of man, because she was already a bear that got poked, and he poked her again. Like, why would you poke the bear again? I was already angry the first time. And overall, I will say that I think this book is a step up from the previous issue. Not to say that I didn't enjoy that first, or well, 0 issue, because this is actually the number 1, but more so that the contents within the story and getting more of the story just makes it all the more enjoyable, which, if we continue that pattern, I should hopefully like each book in succession. And with that, I'm going to score Flashpoint Beyond issue number 1 an 8.5 out of 10. So Flashpoint Beyond issue number 1. What did you think about this book? If you've read it, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. And if you liked this video, I'd love it if you'd smash that like button, share it with some friends, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and ring that notification bell for more comic book content. And if you're wondering what to watch next, consider one of these 2 videos. Alright, take care, have a great day, and as always, stay geeky.